So wonderful, Ashok. It means a lot, really. Like, what is the difference it makes in us? You know, when we talk about the gods and goddesses, we say, Shodasa Kala Anidhiki. Shodasa. Shodasa is 16 kalas, or 16 dimensions in which the divine expresses itself. You see, we have 15 days. On the 15th day, we have either a Paurnami, a full moon, or the next 15th day, we have the no moon. It is when the energies are at their best, or very conducive for us to evolve, they say. Guru Garu adds that, where did this 16th one come from? Shodasakala, where did this 16th one come from? Is the question from some of us. Then he says, you know, again, he talks about the transitional energies. There is a point where the full moon is gone and the other 15 days have started, you know. Till the 15th day, the moon has been growing, for us to see at least. And there's a point where it starts waning, right? He says that point is the Sandhya again. Where you see how beautifully he takes us to that point where we really don't know where that 16th point is, right? And that is why we meditate through the full moon. To catch that point, the point of transitional energy, the Sandhya again, where the waxing the waxing stops and the waning begins. To catch that point, we sit through the full moon. And it is at that point where the transition happens, the quality of time is lost. There is no quality for time. And it is there that all our dreams come true. It is at that point. That is why we are meditating in the Sandhya, Prata Sandhya and Sayam Sandhya. In a similar way, that point is there in both Paurnami and Amavasya, the full moon and no moon also. And obviously there are other reasons. Moon, they say, is the Manakaraka. He causes this emotion. He represents the Manas in this. Manas, Buddhi, Chittam, Ahankaram. The Manas aspect is influenced by the moon. Again, that Manas has this quality of emotion in us, the quality of swelling and shrinking. So there, if we are ignorant, we just are not conscious of ourselves, a lot of damage may happen. And therefore, we sit consciously through that. We meditate through that full moon, and Amavasya is also important for Shaktayas. For those, not in a wrong way, it is all in a good way. People think they do all the tantric pujas and all during the Amavasya. It's not necessarily like that. We are only trying to tap the energies, tap the intense energies inside the cosmos, the cosmic energies at its best. So even the no moon day is very, very useful, but usually for mantra sadhana. For mantra sadhana, it is very good. It manifests, the deities, they manifest. Okay, is this okay, Ashok, for you? Yeah, the full moon, through the full moon, we are trying to catch that point of no quality. We don't know when that really happens. So we consciously meditate, okay? And now, the other things we all know, like, why we meditate and all, we know all that. But there is this intricate aspect which we may have missed, or we may not know until the Guru tells us. So this is one very, very important reason why we meditate on those 2 days. And then there are many doubts which come up as we are sitting through these sessions and learning so much. What is this? Is this some hallucination of some yogis? Are they mad? Or have they been thinking too much about it? or is it from their imagination? Things like these come to us because the logical aspect is tapping the door. But usually, before I explain on that, during the Siva Parvati Kalyanam, we are taking the inner meaning of that, not the outwardly the marriage which is being, the Kalyanam or the marriage which is being performed. It seems the bridegroom was arriving. Parvati wanted to marry Shiva. The bridegroom was arriving with so many ganas around him. The ganas are supposed to be very active, very energetic. They were making a lot of noise, Allah going on. And Parvati's mother was seeing through the window. She was looking for the groom. There were many handsome people there. But, she was asking the others around, is it that boy? Is it this man? Like that. But everybody would say, no, it's not that. Suddenly, it so happened that one of them pointed to Shiva, who has smeared himself in all this ash. And he was looking not very normal, with all the jata, jutam and all. And he was absolutely the only person who was not normal among the whole lot. She fainted. Parvati's mother fainted. And what does this indicate to us? We are conditioned to seeing things. Sorry. We are conditioned to seeing things in a particular way, beautifully wrapped up, everything wrapped up, in the best of its form. And that is the outward reality we are glued to. Outwardly, that is a reality. And nothing else is a reality. But the inner reality is not so beautiful. It is not so beautiful, well-dressed, or wrapped up neatly, or packed beautifully. So it means that we do not accept anything other than which we are conditioned with. The way we are used to. That the mother of Parvati Devi has fainted indicates that there is a big hurdle in our understanding, which will not allow us to cross over. And all this learning is pointing us to some inner reality. See, yesterday there was a question like, is it the philosophical construct or is it conforming to the physical constructs of the modern medical understanding? The question is something like that. No, I was just pondering on that question. See, our reality is only this physical understanding. So a sort of, we are working from the known to the unknown. We know this physical construct or this physical body to a certain extent. So we are performing a regression, like we are going backward because this is known to us. This outward reality is known to us. So from here, we are making a regression. We're going inward towards the unknown. And here, the unknown is not really so beautiful, right? It cuts off with this outward reality. And then there was another question, what is Kundalini? And at the beginning of the session, I was also mentioning that Guru Garu explained that you can see yourself as a third person if you can perform this meditation for 40 days during the Prata Sandhya and Sayam Sandhya is what Guru Garu has said. This was his ultimate message. And what is the seeing ourselves as a third person? See, that is known, right? That information was consciously implanted into you because that is the net result that we are going to experience. And for any experience to happen, we must allow it to happen, basically. If we block it with number of doubts, no, it doesn't happen. So there is a term which is very commonly used, and I'm really scared at looking at at some of the people in the West who consciously do this Kundalini awakening and all. Namaskaram to all of them. It must not be performed in such a way. Kundalini awakening must not be done so brutally and things like that. It has to happen so beautifully from inside, and it must be allowed to happen. A person must be ready, basically. Ready in the sense, not dressed and sit for the occasion. It's not that. Internally, one must be evolved. And when a person is evolved, it happens naturally. The awakening in a person happens naturally. Then most of the persons, like, saints or those with them who have seen this, who have had this experience of Kundalini, they explain that suddenly they were sitting in the chair. They were casually, one of my acquaintances, he says that he was sitting in a chair reading the newspaper, and suddenly he was flying. Suddenly he was flying. He could touch the roof. He could go through the wall, and he could see his body lying down there. And then he was feeling so happy. He was trying to enter the body. He could not enter the body. He was just going around. And suddenly came the thought of, what if I cannot enter the body? See the thought of body consciousness, that he was a body, that he is a body, has occurred to him. And then he could immediately find himself back in the body. Now it's a higher state of consciousness, where initially we have begun to understand that body is not everything. Mind is not everything. All the vital forces inside the body are not everything. The Panchapranas are not. Slowly, as Adi Shankaracharya himself has taught us in the Nirvana Shatakam, we are ruling out all these possibilities of getting attached to them. Slowly, just like we peel off the layers of onion, there is a shift in consciousness happening. So with this shift, we arrive at a point, and this point is not from any imagination. It is from the experience. It is an experiential state of consciousness. This has been given to us from the experiences of many sages. So we should understand that, you see, we have a plan for a building initially, right? And the building is constructed. This plan is projected as the building. In this case, the building is the physical body. There is a micro plan inside. The micro plan is inside the causal body till now. Okay, we have reached till the causal body. And beyond that, that is also called the Karana Sharira. There is also a Mahakarana Sharira. There is a cause beyond this cause also. So this has a root here. And it is not the other way. That which we see outside has a cause inside. There is a blueprint inside. There is a reason for all this which is there. And it is not the other way. Like, the causal body does not have a cause here in the physical body. It's not the other way. We have to understand that. So when this mechanism, the inner mechanism, is explained to us, it is not from any imagination. It is from the deepest experiential states of consciousness, we can say. From avastatrayatitaha. I was referring to the Ganapati Atharvasation. Whoever they may worship, eventually he turns out to be the Paramatma, Parabrahma. Para is beyond. Persons who worship Ganesha can see everything as Ganesha, the Parabrahma in Ganesha. It is because it is that. See, when we were talking that the Atma is inside us. And again, we say that Atma is all pervasive. It is there. There is no depth to that. It is there everywhere. So instead of visualizing Atma inside us, what if this physical body is a bubble in that all-pervasive Atman, the Paramatma? Just imagine the all-pervasive Paramatma like an ocean. A bubble has come out of it. And that bubble is each of us. Each of us is a bubble from there. Now see, from Atma residing inside us, see, we are inside the Atma now. We are in the Paramatma now. That is how we grow. And that is the essence of the whole thing. That is the essence. Slowly, because this is the reality, the physical body is the reality for us. We are positioning the Atma inside the body. And as we grow, we understand that we are positioned in the Paramatma. So slowly we evolve. That is the process of evolution, the inner evolution, the evolution of the inner man. By himself, Angushtamatra Purusha, he knows everything. Inside the Angushtamatra Purusha, the Paramatma is there. He knows everything. But what is preventing him from presenting himself in the way he knows? It is all these layers of attachment to various things which is preventing him. Once these layers are dropped off, the Paramatma reflects in us. And then, important thing that happens in Kundalini awakening, they say, is we lose this attachment with the body. So only when we lose the attachment with the body, the prana goes out. There we have discussed about the Pancha Prana. And I was also mentioning about the brain dead people in whom the Mukhya Prana along with the Udana Vayu goes out. Still there is some prana left inside which supports the digestion, a little of circulation. So they still remain. They still remain in the body. And that is why decomposition is not happening. And Guru Garu in his Kata Yogam, he was also explaining some aspects of Parakaya Pravesham, which is of interest to many of us. Now, these people would do it just like that in the previous, in the good olden days, no? They knew all this. So he only gave us a little into this because otherwise this might be used for the wrong purposes. And a whole lot of Hollywood films will start on this. So the Inception, the film Inception is based on Yoga Vasishthyam, where this states of consciousness, the various, see, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. See how they wonderfully wove a film out of that. All these Avastha Trayatitaha. See, we were talking about Ganapati. And accessing the various states of consciousness was explained by sage Vasishtha to Lord Rama. Lord Rama himself was an incarnation of Vishnu. He was only posing as if he didn't know anything, you know. He sat at the feet of the Guru. He said, Guru Garu, you tell me now, he said, with utmost simplicity. He sat at the feet. And then sage Vasishtha, he explains this, how to transcend these states of consciousness. From a wakeful state to a dream state to a state of Sushupti, an unconscious state. Jagrat state is a conscious state. And Sushupti is an unconscious state. In the middle is a dream state. Most of us, we experience the dream state. Most of us, we experience the dream state. You know, when the person loses or loses attachment with the body, everything that is happening around is like a dream, you know, Swapna Avastha. And beyond that is beyond the Sushupti is a Turiya Avastha, Samadhi. That is where that is a state of consciousness where all these yogis are trying to reach, where there will be no need for us to take another birth and experience. It's only through experience that we learn. So we need a birth. When once that purpose is, served, there is no need for a birth. So this transcending of various states of consciousness is the purpose of the meditation that we are doing. We are trying to evolve through various states of consciousness. And we are not just sitting here simply, just like that, It must have been intense desire for number of births. It might appear that casually we had a talk, casually we had a meeting, and casually we have planned the program. It might look like that. But any desire has to be manifested. That is the power of sankalpa in any human being. Any desire has to be manifested. So, but for this desire to manifest, there needs to be some merit. That merit is either, it's punya, they say. Any merit, the positive thing that we have done. See, we have a fan over, we have food to eat. All these things come from punya. We want our children to be happy. Gather more punya, Guru Guru says. Just do more punya. Do karma, which gives you more merit. That is what it means. So with merit, we get into relationships which give us comfort. Or there will be some relationships where we have the pain. It's as simple as that. So when we have lots of money, we have all the different kinds of wealth, it means that we are exhausting the punya. It means our bank account is being robbed of the punya that we have deposited or accumulated. When we are suffering, he says, you be grateful to God. Guru Garu says this. When one is suffering, be grateful that all your papa karma is getting, is being exhausted. So there is a samasthiti when we understand. We just don't get overjoyed when we are rich or when we are happy. We become more cautious because the dharma of the student who is learning this moksha vidya is more. The standards of the student, the standards of the disciple, who is, to whom, I shouldn't say that we are learning it, to whom the learning has come. The disciple to whom the moksha vidya has come has to be more cautious in performing the karma. The standards are higher. And that is why, the tests that we undergo are more in number. There will be more number of tests. And we have to take the test and not refuse to take it. Take the test with understanding and maintain this inner balance. When there is suffering, we understand that we should feel happy that all that negative things in our karma is getting exhausted. And when we are happy, we remain calm, we remain poised and balanced with an understanding that the punya is getting exhausted. So this life, any life, is a mix of all the karma and all the karma, like all the punya and papa. Simply, Guru Garu says, it is an inaction of the past action. There is a past action, which is like a spring, which is wound up. And that spring is unwound now. As simple as that. We have wound it. We have, the spring is wound by us. And this unwinding takes place now. So everything is our making. So with that understanding, when we live the life, future karma will not get accumulated. And parallelly, all that karma which we are taking now gets exhausted. And I was saying that any desire has to be manifested. It will be manifested. The desire for moksham would not have started at this moment or in this life or during the past 40 days. This session must be an answer for intense craving for moksha over many births. So for a desire to manifest, there has to be some merit. So a certain conducive environment will be provided when the time reaches, when the time is appropriate. The desire comes into fruition. It bears fruit. It gives us the result. So I shall stop the session here, and tomorrow we will continue with the previous aspects.
Yeah, if anyone wants to clarify your question or anything, please raise your hand or unmute yourself.
I think over to permissions.
Yeah. Thank you, Rajalakshmi. And the permission, sir.
Everybody. There is no end to explain. One question will lead to many questions. The question should dissolve. So meditating on Amavasya or Paurnami day naturally dissolves actually. It helps. Like every day we take bath, but weekly once or some days we take oil bath. So inner and outer cleansing happens and purification happens more physical level. But it's not only physical, mental. Like that, naturally the cosmos helps us more. Tatishangatusharabam Shirovadharnava Sambhavam Namami Shashinam Somam Shambhor Maguda Bhushanam. Because sun is close to earth, so much influence is there on our planet and our body. That's why all masters talk about more meditation on Paurnami day. Paurnami is full moon, full. So the inner moon is directly linking to our mind, all people having this schizophrenia and bipolar and so many issues all have a change of that mind influence on Amavasya day and Paurnami day. That's why you have to be cautious of such people. So we have to respond when we are living with them. This is one lesson. Why suddenly? So immediately we should not give them chemicals and make them suffer more. Instead, we meditate on that day and send the pure love to such people surrounding when they are at home. That's why we are learning, as she said, witnessing, okay, understanding that. And indirectly we can help people around the family surrounding entire world. That's why Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, when we talk about, it is the vibration we can send, because natural vibration is more these days. And those who are having that carried over karma and what medical science talk about, schizophrenia. Most of us have, in fact, all these issues sometime or other, but we don't brand it, that's all. And because of the Sattva Guna and the Satsanga, we are able to overcome and understand, oh yeah, it is my fault. Go in, then we come out. So we can help others also. That's why group meditation instead of single person sitting at home. Because people, the fixed time like this, some people have some other program. So many are not ready to change. So change is the only constant factor. Should be ready. When we are in group, whether it is 5 or 50 or 500, doesn't matter. The more the better. More people get it. But my contribution is that together. So, and special days like this, its effect is, before and after also. It's there. And just responding to the situation, we say, instead of reacting, then the world can become so beautiful. And at physical level and mental level, purification only as pranayama, starting with that, we can go for meditation deeper with clear understanding. And meditation is nothing but witnessing, sakshi bhava, looking ourselves. That is looking within. Deho devalaya prokto jivo deva sanatana. That jiva is the God, or whatever you call Brahma, Brahmas, there which is sanatana, which is there within and without also. And that merger should happen ultimately. So when we understand that, then there is no external puja needed. So ham bhavena puja, with that bhava, sa aham, he I am, or ham sa. But for that, all other understanding what we are doing, that's why suddenly we cannot go in, depending upon our mental state and our gunas and all that. That's why then ultimately that's so one should reach that state. Yes, that's why Shodashakala Rajalakshmi was telling, In fact, my master was telling 15 Bija mantras are given Shodasha in that Asakala, Kaya, Ilahrim, like that. So many are there. The 16th is not given, that you are discovering or revealing to yourself. You find that. So that will happen ultimately. So once that happens, then we will not have any need or get dissolved the pralaya like happens. So we should aim high, that's all. So here also spirituality also aiming high. We don't know where you are, but enjoying the journey without worrying about the result, as Krishna says. That's all. Okay. So let us take deep breaths and adopt the mudra, whichever suits you, needs for your purpose. Then let go all the tension, stress, heaviness as you exhale. And you inhale, you are receiving the divine energy, not just air, with that clear understanding. Yad bhavam tad bhavati. Let's go for Nadi Shuddhi. Opening Ida and Pingala and balancing. Whenever you are ready, can follow the guidelines. Go in to Antakarana.
Do your last, and I'm going to start the Omkaram and as usual, and do your visualization. And then start meditating.
Rabindu samyuktam nityam gayanti yogina kamadam mokshadam seva. Omkaraya namo.